Hello, my name is Praveen Madan, and Steve and the team asked me to give you guys a very brief overview of this project we have going on in Silicon Valley to create the bookstore of the future at Kepler's Books. Since some of you might not know what Kepler's Books is, Kepler's has been the Silicon Valley's preeminent bookstore for about 57 years. And in that time, it has outlasted companies like Webvan, Pets.com, Netscape, and Sun Microsystems, and it's still going. As an ex-consultant, I can't resist the urge to do a little focus group, so raise your hand if you've been in a physical bookstore in the last 6 months. Practically everyone, so that's very impressive. About 6 months ago, when I got involved with the Kepler's, I had a lot of questions, and a lot of people in the Kepler's community in Silicon Valley also had a lot of questions if a bookstore has a place left at all in this world with the Amazon and ebooks. And Silicon Valley is a particularly interesting market because practically everybody there is carrying an iPad and a Kindle. So we're not sure if there was room left for a bookstore. So on Steve's pushing, he's been helping us a lot at Kepler's. We did a survey, and what we found really just blew us away. Just like all of you raising your hands, even people down in Silicon Valley, including people who are very, very tech savvy, still continue to visit bookstores and use bookstores and still love bookstores. So those results, gave us a lot of optimism that there was still room for a bookstore, but what a bookstore is clearly needs to be, redefined. So here is how we are doing that. This is a busy slide. I won't go through all of this because I only have a few minutes. The elements you see here in green are things that bookstores have always done and will continue to do for a long time. And the elements in red are the new ideas that we hope to pioneer and experiment and put into work. And one of the big ideas is that we are bifurcating the traditional business of a bookstore into a for-profit and into a separate non-profit organization. The organization that is hosting us here today, Commonwealth Club, is actually in a business very similar to bookstores. They do events. They do literary events. They produce author events and on-stage author interviews, and they bring people together around these gatherings. And that's a non-profit business. IRS recognizes that as a non-profit business. There are other organizations similar to Commonwealth Club that do the same thing under a non-profit umbrella. So at Kepler's, there was an awards-winning events program. They were doing 200 author events a year, and we've decided to take that and a lot of other community work and doing book fairs with schools and literacy-related work and just carve that out into a separate nonprofit organization. And we think that's going to help in a big way in making bookstores sustainable in today's day and age. So that's one of the big ideas, and that's not the only one. There's a lot of other things that we hope to try too, including new revenue models around subscriptions and memberships and so on and so forth. So this project will, we're calling it Kepler's 2020. It'll be going on for a number of years. You can keep watching as we make progress on this. And our goal really is to create a very open source business model, because people always ask me, Praveen, why are you doing this? Do you want to build a franchise? Do you build a national chain? And I think those days are over. I think for community bookstores to really survive and thrive, they're going to have to become community-owned, community-operated enterprises, very, very focused on their local communities and very embedded in their communities. And but at the same time, I think there's a lot of room for sharing a lot of this innovation and new ideas that are going to come out with other bookstores. And as part of this open source sharing philosophy, we're organizing a Future Search event, which is actually a Better Call a Book. On the Future Search methodology, and Sandra Janoff, who wrote the book and is the co-founder of Future Search Network, is coming out and helping facilitate the Future Search for Kepler's and for other bookstores, and many of the other leading bookstores from around the country are going to come down and to Silicon Valley and participate in that next year. So I just want to mention as a last thought that Better Caller and everything I've learned from Better Caller has been very, very critical in taking some of these ideas on the organization model, the stewardship, the transparency, and the way Steve and the rest of the team have built Better Caller, and we're taking some of these same ideas and not trying to apply it to bookstores and trying to figure out how to make bookstores really survive and thrive and become sustainable in this day and age, and then share that very openly with, with the other bookstores around the country. So Steve has been a big influence. He's been helping us a lot, and David is also coming out to Future Search next week. So that's just a little bit about the Kepler's 2020 project. I'll be around. If you have questions, come find me and talk to me about it. Thank you.